Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube, and this is my review of Rambo Last Blood. It was just released yesterday and I catch in the second day. It's not that bad. I mean, technically it's just a storytelling from the beginning and the last. And set for the franchise that they are no longer releasing more John Rambo movie. I don't know whether they are going to release some more, but from what I know is they are not releasing anymore in the future because it's outdated and it's kind of wasting too much money and explosive and TNT, that kind of stuff, and nobody want to pay that money. So what I think about the movie is technically good. To be honest, it's overrated. From what I expect is minimum, not so highly rated, but I end up wrong and I have to like go for it and watch it on myself, and I figure it out. It's really good. Because one thing that is keep in mind, John Rambo is a psychotic path, ex-commando navy type, and this time they overdo it in Mexico border, in modern days Mexico, and he was not alone. That's for one. Because of this so-called girl that live with John Rambo, age slightly look like 25 or 26 to be honest, and she have her driving license, and from what I know the story timeline is she found out her real life dad location, and why she wanted to know why is her dad abandoning the mother and daughter. So she went ahead and asked the grandma. The grandma does speak in Spanish, saying that he's a very bad guy and you should not never go and find him, blah blah blah. All this nonsense about crappy ass parenting. And then John Rambo stepped in and say no. He knows he's a bad guy and he have a black heart. So technically he is right preventing it. But after that, the girl ignored their warning, and the country is corrupted with gangsters. That Mexico, I never thought they just filmed those bad area. And after that, well, things go psychotically stupid. Sort of, for a minimum of 2 minutes. Um, the stupid part is technically the girl ignore. Even with the dumbest ideology, she even mentioned in the film in the grandma with the grandma saying that, oh, she talked to a ex sister or stepsister to find a dad, and that's a bad move to be honest. And I have to say it's pretty good. After that, the that that happens to open the door and talk about it is technically a asshole, a super mean asshole. So after all that, the girl cried and technically go clubbing, and most people knows that what happened in Mexico live in Mexico and it's a real thing. The girl was kidnapped and sell as a whore to Mexicans and any other country people that want to have sex with the girl. And to be honest, this is not the first thing I noticed. It's a fucked up film. So after John Rambo figured it out and the person called John Rambo house and said that, oh, your daughter went missing, blah blah blah, went clubbing, that kind of thing, and all of a sudden John Rambo decided to take a gun and knife and think he can outbeat those psycho gangsters that murder people in the film. But he never get outsmarted. John Rambo got beaten up like a nutcase, and he was cuffed with a big V on it. And I was like, okay, so technically John Rambo is weak. But in another case, the girl also got cuffed with a big V. And after that, John Rambo outraged, but never ever got a move. So after 4 days later, John Rambo woke up and think of the girl, and he just literally want to find the girl, and he did. But turns out later on, when she was rescued by John Rambo, personally the girl just died, and died in a painful matters, and is really caught me off guard. An innocent soul girl just technically can't take the heat and died. And that triggered John Rambo literally just technically just doing what he does, and he built a freaking Vietnam tunnel from the earliest stages of Vietnam War from 19 something, and he was like he remembered the map, the out layer and the outer layer, and what kind of traps. It's all Vietnamese, and I was surprised. He is smart. He literally put the stake pointing up needles and everything, and it's like the whole cave is booby trapped with AT&Ts and damages. That kind of thing is like nut job. Who would want to go through that case rather than shooting a outraged machine gun on the person? But who knows? They have AK-47 and shitty ass vehicle just drove. So right now, John Rambo is not in a is technically one of the robust movie I ever seen, and the end of the story is the person got ripped out by John Rambo. His heart was technically tear apart, and out of all the nonsense I ever seen in World War film, John Rambo is technically one thing that I really wish I was. And ripping off somebody's heart and protect the weakest to prevent something happening in the first place is what we intentionally doing. But in the same time, John Rambo was a good film, and I highly recommend it. I mean, it's technically worth 13.50 over here. It's it stayed here 13.50, and I think it's a worth price for a movie. And I don't know, maybe I should give it a 10 because the movie is literally good. Then in the same time, if you're afraid of blood, then this is technically not a good film for you. Rambo Last Blood is the title and the last chapter of the whole entire Rambo, and in the end you can expect to see a couple of pictures from Rambo 1, Rambo 2, Rambo 3, Rambo 4, and then Rambo 5. So thank you so much. I like Rambo, but if you are afraid of blood, then don't go for Rambo. There's technically other film, but I think Rambo is a good suitable thing where it teach people how to be courage and brave, and time to time army just gone corrupted and you have to use your own idea how to prevent further extinction, and it's really good. So I really highly recommend somebody watching it. And if you have a buddy in the army, just bring him along, watch the film, and ask him how he felt about the film. And for me, it's good. And that's about it, I guess. It's not really an outrage. It was kind of caught me off guard, and I was kind of like having my one drip of tears just for that film. But any case, I don't know what else they have in store for other film, but definitely check out Rambo first. If you're not over 18, you also cannot get in. So that's kind of a genuine request. Well, anyway, I'm out of here. Have a good night. And it's already 1 a.m. So I better skadoosh. Bye.